Okay, this should be an explanation of how to get started at this process. I don't plan to get through all of the steps, but this should give you enough work to get started and practice on how we can communicate. You can let me know if this video is helpful or if you can see everything. So what we're going to start with is if we get a new client and we have a new person to work with, the first thing we're going to have to do is figure out where they currently are and what we need to work on. So I'll create a document that you can follow along, but for starters, we will have this document here always. It's the citations and website. So it says make a copy, and that's why you're going to want to create a copy. And I may have already done this always when it comes to a new client. So we would name it the name of the client, and then we'd save it, and we could get rid of the end here where it says make a copy. And now we know it's not the template anymore. So once you have this new document, the page you're going to want to start out with, you can move this over, is we're going to have to list the competitors. Without having a list of competitors, there's really no way of knowing what we're searching for and what we're trying to improve. Now that we've made a copy of this and named it, we've named it with the company name that we're going to use. And as you can see, all the areas are blank. They would all need to be filled in, every one of these. So we'll go through as much as we can here. So for starters, we're going to start with listing the competitors. To do that, there's a couple of methods we could use. One of the most powerful tools is this website here. There's a few different places we could start, and we can start right here by doing a search, a local ring tracker. I'm sure you've seen these before. This will give you the ranking at a distance. So this says 9x9 grid, meaning it's going to be 9 dots by 9 dots across. You can choose the distance between them, so you can make this either very small and very local, or you can spread it out this far. It doesn't help depending on the business. Some businesses obviously will not have people driving that far to purchase from them. When it's finished, it would look something like this. This one is much smaller. You can see it's only 5 dots, so that's only 5 across by 5 down. Each one of them is only 1,000 meters across, so that's only 5,000 meters. That's about 3 miles. That would be about 10 minutes in a car to drive. So that's not very far at all. That's a good distance to go with. What this will help with is understanding not only how our client is doing for a given keyword. This is the keyword. This is the client's name. This will all get filled in at a later time, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that there. To find the keyword that you're going to use, there's a couple different ways you could do this. One is we have access to their Google business, so we can go in and look at performance. We can look at what's currently happening and what people are already using to search. Now, this doesn't have to be the right answer. Maybe we want them to rank for a keyword that they're not currently ranking for. But for now, one of the easiest methods also would be to start with the business category. That's obviously something that people would want to search for, is whatever their primary category is. So you can look at a business and realize they should be ranking for that word, and that word, and that word. Any of these, if they're not ranking for that word and that's what they say they do, there's a problem. So we could start out with that right there, and we would go to this application here and we would put in the business name, and we would put the keyword there, which I believe I actually did put flooring store. So there we go. There's the business name, there's the flooring store. And to get to this, in tools, we go right to local rank tracker, and that would get us to this page, and this would be blank, and you could fill these in. So I've chosen a good distance. It's about a 10-minute drive in a car, which is something people will easily travel. Now we have a list of competitors, as you can see. Now you could take each one of these and you could go investigate it or copy them, and you could copy this information into the list of competitors, and you could make a column for each competitor name, website, number of reviews, and perhaps even distance. I'll fill this in a little later. What we're going to do from this point, though, is by doing this search, we've created information in a different section of this, which in this is the Google Business Profile Analyzer. So again, in Tools, there's all these different tools you can use, and they're all located here or over here. And you can spend some time to look around here. So now that we're in here, we're going to create a thing for a new business. So we're going to create off of a list. So if this were a new customer, you will have checked for their main business category name, the name of the company, the main business category, which for this company is flooring store. I'm currently doing a search here for tile stores near me because that was another keyword located, because they are also a tile store that's their second. And if we were looking in performance, tile stores near me was one of the first keywords that isn't there. This is their main product. This is their name. So this was a good one to search for. So now that we're in here, this is the business. We're in the Google Business Profile Analyzer. We're creating a list. Sorry, this application froze, which it does pretty often. This software is really raw. As you can see, it does not have a very special graphical user interface. So you will choose this, and here's the main website. You'll log in, and then you'll be at the home screen, which looks like this. Then you choose this button here, Analyze Listing, and you will create listing, import. You could do all sorts of things. If you knew the list of CIDs, a bunch of businesses that you chose from Google Maps, if you had already gone to Google Maps and made a list, which we'll get into that another time, but if you had made a list of businesses and you knew their CIDs, you could list them all in here and just compare to certain businesses. You can have a list that we can import, but we're just going to go straight to this. The rank tracker that we just used when we created that square with all the dots on it, which is this local rank tracker. So we can look at previous searches since this crashed. They don't seem to go in any great order. So this list here is for tile stores near me. You can see they rank number 1, obviously right where they are, and they rank 3rd in the Google Map Pack for these. Up here, they're not ranking. This is closer to the city of Chicago. Very populous, dense, very, very, very thick city. So this list right here is a good list of competitors because they're obviously all around here. So by using this feature right here, we can name the list Tile Store Come. And then you would choose the correct search. So you could make a list like this for every different keyword. As you can see, some of my other clients different locations, different keywords, different distances. So we're just going to go with the one we're talking about right now. Actually, I'm going to go with flooring store because that is their main keyword. So it's then going to show you all of the people that showed up. You can choose and you can unchoose some. So maybe you look through this list and you realize that someone is really far away or that it's a different type of business. Sometimes they're not perfect. Or these are both the same company. So maybe you don't want to show both because they're just two different stores of the same company. That might happen a lot. So maybe you don't want to include them all. So sometimes you might want to, if you understand it at all, if you think you can make good decisions, you can go ahead and look through. So when you're looking at this list, one easy thing would just be to choose them all. Sorry, this thing locked up again. So once you click all those little boxes and hit save, you can then view the listing. It'll show you all these red dots are the people we picked, and you can see now why maybe you want to take some out. Like maybe this doesn't make any sense. So you can go in. There's a good example of what to do here. You can go into this and you can manage the list. We have to go back one. You can manage the list right here. And unfortunately difficult for that. So if you view the listings, you can see all the reviews from all the other companies. You can see how often they were reviewed, average reviews. You can see the projects. This is a wonderful tool for being able to, as time goes on, we'll use this for all sorts of things. It's just good that you know that there's data here so you can understand things that we can find and how to copy. With all search engine optimization, the only goal is to beat whoever's ahead of you. There is no such thing as doing it perfect. All you have to do is be better than who's ahead of you in the search results. So you can choose all sorts of things here. We can even just choose based on distance, whoever's the closest to us. You can increase that distance and see, so you're only comparing to the closest people. That way you're only up against the most local competitors. Sometimes that makes a lot of difference. You can look at all the questions and answers from all the other businesses. That's an excellent way of providing data that gets searched. So the main reason we came here was to gather some competitors. And as you can see, we now have a list of competitors. So we can look at, there's the rating, here's the number of reviews. So we can go by whoever has the highest reviews, so they're most likely the best place. This is the CID I was mentioning. This is something good. We can download all this data. We can use this for all sorts of things. But this will help you understand what's going on with all the competitors. The most important thing we came here to do was to be able to work on the list of competitors. So this list of competitors, to fill this out, now that we've done all that, we can go into overview, and here's an analysis of all the competitors. So the reason we did all that originally was to get a list of competitors so we can begin this sheet, which is a whole another process. So for starters, you'll have done everything now. And then finally, so proximity means closeness to, or how close to, or distance. So we can choose the most on this list, which is 12 miles, which in a car is only 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll choose the most, and you'll have this nice list here. So download this right to whatever we want. I'm going to download it to Excel. Another thing you can do is literally just copy it. You could paste it right in here. And now you have your list. Each one has a link directly in it. One nice thing about copying and pasting this way, rather than using the downloaded sheet that just happened, is that in this competitors list forever, when we refer to this sheet, and we will always have all this information here, when we're looking for things to do to outrank our competitors, we can always come back to this nice simple sheet. We can organize by distance. We can look for the closest stores. And when we do choose one, the link that it embeds will take us back to that tool and allow us all sorts of this information, which is this is part of that Pleper website. This gives us all the things to see what our competitors are doing. We can look at their social media. We can see what they're posting. We can go to their website. We can look at Google Maps. We can look at the knowledge graph. We can see what their search results look like. We can see what the pictures they're posting looks like. We can get right to all this very, very simply. So it's a great method. So you'd be done now at that point, and you could close out of this, and we'll come back to other things. But you've done step one, and you've created a list of competitors for a new business, for a new customer, a new client, and we'll do something. We'll move on from that after this. But I'm going to embed this video into the standard procedure.